Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Danielson Chauskas. Today is the 8th of June 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to the last trading day of this week. So we're going to have a look at the markets today, what's happening, well, what happened with them yesterday, what levels to watch out for today. But before we jump into the charts, the usual, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page here, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, different technical analysis on their own, and of course our main daily analysis that we throw out early in the morning. And yeah, so you can go and check us out here. I think you can find something useful, and yeah, so please do not hesitate to visit us here. But for now, let's quickly have a look at the markets. So the first one I want to start looking at is the S&P 500. Now, yesterday, of course, we closed the day with a red candle, and certainly we are now in, well, we closed in the bear zone, but nevertheless we are still on an uptrend and we are heading higher. We're still bullish on this one. We are still aiming for this level right here, the 2790 and the 2800. We can actually say that we're aiming for this area here, so keep an eye on this one, guys. I mean, we could end up testing this level again. And just to kind of remind you that these two levels, the 2790 and the 2800, have been these highs that we had. So the first one was the February's high, and the other one was the March high. So good levels of resistance here. Could be possible to see those. Of course, the question here is it going to be today or is it going to be something for next week? Certainly we are not far from it, so we're still kind of aiming for these levels. For now, of course, also stay sharp. We could end up maybe pushing lower here. If this was going to get treated as the bearish signal here, as a bearish sign, this daily candle, then we could end up moving lower here, maybe even towards this this key area of support now, this key level, the 2742, approximately there. Now, I was talking about this level in my previous videos, and I was talking about kind of the importance of this level. So even though we've managed to break it to the upside nicely, still, I mean, any small reversal back down, any small correction back down, so we could see this level getting tested again, because it could act as a good level support now. Also, probably maybe it could end up, it's not far from the 21 EMA as well. Excuse me. And we could end up testing that one as well. So, but that's only, of course, if this is going to get classed as a bearish sign. For now, like I said, we're more bullish than bearish. Excuse me, guys. My throat is kind of stuck here today. But so the next one I want to look at is the FTSE. Well, to be honest, not much to talk about here. Yesterday we managed to make a move higher, but then actually closed the day in the red zone, and it closed the day below the 21 EMA. Certainly could be seen as a more of a negative sign, but for us to kind of become more bearish on this one, we would need to see a nice move below the 7690 area, approximately there, and then maybe eventually a close below that area would be nice as well, in order to kind of consider further declines. On the downside, we do have a nice level here, the 7610. that could act as a good level of support. Certainly, of course, if it starts to break that, well, we'll just have to evaluate it then again. But for now, keep an eye on the 76.90. This could act as a good level of support initially, and let's see what it wants to do with it. If this reverses back to the upside again, well, we'll keep monitoring this 77.95 mark, approximately there, which was approximately the high that we had here in January this year. So also good level of resistance, but if that gets broken, well, this is opening the path towards higher levels. For now, keep an eye on this one, guys. I mean, could play out as an interesting trade. Looking at the DAX now, the DAX is also, well, to be honest, the DAX is being slightly annoying here. I mean, yesterday we had a nice move here higher. We tested the 21 EMA, but then actually we have moved lower again, and we closed the day below this 12,830 mark that I keep talking about. So for now, probably just continue observing it. I mean, for us to become more bearish on this one, we would need to see maybe a good move and a strong close inside this range between the 12,083 and the 12,600. We also would need to see a nice break here below the 200 EMA in order to kind of consider further declines. But for now, it's also difficult to talk about the upside as well, because just judging by this current activity, this is not really forming and giving us anything of like that we could play on, let's say like that. Let's touch on gold quickly as well. Again, waiting for a nice move here. The question here is there going to be something interesting today, or this is just building up for next week? So I mean, for now we can see that we're stuck here below this 21 EMA shown as the yellow line. We keep getting spikes through it, keep getting spikes these higher, but still at the end of the day it reverses back down and closes below this 21 EMA. So currently we are stuck here as well. We can see that today already we managed to test this upwards moving trend line, this long-term upwards moving trend line that's running from December 2016, and of course it continues to prove to be as a strong area of support. For now, guys, continue observing it. I mean, there's not much to talk about here until it makes a nice breakthrough. We're not gonna touch this one. I mean, we're just gonna continue observing it. US oil, which is the WTI, we made a move higher here, and almost managed to touch this upwards moving trend line from underneath, certainly, but now we're seeing this candle reversing to the downside. We are above this 100 EMA now, and of course we could end up staying here for today, and maybe the bigger move is going to be left for next week. So again, I mean, to be honest, the market right now is just kind of probably just continue observing it. I mean, there are really kind of difficult ones to analyze, and we're just waiting, like I said, we're just waiting for a better move here, especially at the WTI. Quickly, let's touch on the DXY, so the dollar index. Now this is looking nicely and continues to drag down. Certainly, we can see that it's getting held here by this level that I had highlighted here, this 93.30 mark, approximately there. We could, to be honest, the trend is now to the downside. I mean, we could end up pushing lower, or maybe even towards this lower bound of the Bollinger Band, and also maybe touching this 92.65 mark as well. So for now, guys, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on this area. So also, I mean, we do have some lower levels underneath, but for now, let's just see what it wants to do with the 93.3 level. If it gets a nice break here below, well, this is not looking good for the dollar index, and we could end up pushing lower, and there is some potential for this one to go lower. Certainly, we could see something like a retracement back to the upside today, maybe a move towards this 21 EMA. If we get a nice break here above this 21 EMA, shown here as the yellow line, and eventually close above it, well, this could be maybe seen as a bullish sign, and we could end up pushing higher here again, maybe even towards this 94 mark, or actually the 94.2, approximately there. So could watch out for this area, but only if we get a nice break here above the 21 EMA. Looking at the euro dollar, and the euro dollar continues to push higher. Yesterday, of course, it seemed that it wants to continue moving above the 118.250. I was talking about this level in my previous videos, and certainly now we can see that it made a move higher but actually closed the day below it, so we could end up testing this 118.250 again today, but it seems like it's going to be acting as a good level of resistance. So if we do get a nice strong pop through it and we start taking out yesterday's high, then this could open the path towards higher levels. First, of course, we'll be aiming towards this upper bound of the Bollinger Band, and slightly higher above that we do have the psychological 120, but this is probably something for next week if this trend continues to move higher. Looking at the Euro GBP, now I'm not a huge fan of this pair because it continues to disappoint everyone probably, but let's say yesterday we had a nice spike here to the upside. We managed to break this key area here that I was talking about. This one is 0.88100. We managed to pierce through another good level of resistance at 88,300, and to be honest, but then at the end of the day we had this massive strong reversal back down. So even though we still closed above this 100 EMA, I mean, it's currently looking a bit well, it's more bullish than bearish, let's say like that. We are still aiming for the 0.88100 mark, but to be honest, with this pair, I mean, anything can happen. It could just reverse suddenly back down and move lower. So for now, guys, I would probably stay away from this one, stay sharp. For us to become more bullish on the longer term, we would need to see a nice move here above this 0.88450 approximately there, in order to kind of consider further upside. And the further upside, we are still aiming for this upper bound of the falling channel formation that we're seeing here on the bigger picture. So of course, like I said, for now, just stay sharp, keep an eye on it. But to be honest, like I said, it's quite difficult to trade this one. Let's quickly touch on GBP USD and GBP USD. So yesterday we formed this doji candle here, and we had a nice move here, slightly above the 134.55 level that I was talking about, and we moved higher, and of course we still closed the day below, but even though we closed the day below the 134.55, we still kind of closed above the 21 EMA, just slightly above it. So at this point, I mean, it wouldn't be, let's say, logical to say that it would from here we would, you know, reverse down, because this has been like a reversal candle here. We still could end up pushing higher again, maybe even testing this 134.55 level again. But for us, like I said, for us to become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice close above the 134.55 in order to kind of consider higher levels. For now, we're also monitoring this level 133.90. 133.90 could act as a good level of support initially, but if it starts to break, I mean, well, it could open the path towards these lower levels, and especially this nice, beautiful number of 133. Let's quickly touch on USD JPY, and USD JPY is moving lower here. So for now, of course, be very careful. I mean, now we're seeing a bit of signs of weakness here coming into this pair, and we are now oops, I do apologize, guys, for the sounds, external sounds here. So we are now moving lower here below this long-term upwards moving trend line here. That this trend line has been running since 2012, if I'm not mistaken. So quite an important trend line, guys. I mean, keep an eye on it, because this will probably act as a good indication of where this pair wants to continue moving. If we do get a close below this, then, well, it could open the path towards these higher levels. Watch out for the 109 on the bottom here, on the bottom side. But if this stays above it, I mean, keep an eye on the psychological 110, because you can see that yesterday we continued bouncing around it. The 200 EMA acted as a good level of resistance, but we never kind of stayed above it. So keep an eye on the 110 again, and then eventually keep an eye on this this 200 EMA, a nice break above these two levels could open the path towards higher highs. So one more pair that I actually wanted to really quickly touch on is the Aussie NZD. Now this is something more from an exotic one, so we're going to see that we're getting a nice break here to the downside. We're moving lower now, and of course continue monitoring this one, because like I said, this could prove to be a nice nice trade here. We could end up pushing lower here, maybe towards this this line right here that we've got, and this line is the upper side of the falling channel, so we could end up testing it from above. Certainly, like I said, keep an eye on it. It's a good pair to watch, and we could squeeze something out of it. Certainly, like I said, at the moment it's looking more bearish than bullish, and currently aiming for this 1.08 level. Okay guys, I will have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for listening and watching. I hope you found it useful, but for now I'll have to say goodbye, and if you want to join me later on my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. For now, thank you very much guys, and bye bye.